All right, guys. I got a little interesting theory to put before you. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. Someone speculated, and I kind of thought myself personally that Trump's pullout of Syria was a strategic move, and that he was basically, as he always does, sets people up with a seemingly stupid move or rope-a-dope kind of mentality to draw people into a trap. And this is exactly what I've witnessed and watched over time, the way Trump operates. It's really their own deception that brings them into the trap anyway, because they are deceivers. And as the scripture says, God will show himself shrewd, to those who are shrewd. To the pure in heart, he'll show himself pure. But if you're a deceiver, well, then God's going to let you be deceived. So it goes on to say, this thread says, what if Trump needed to nail down al-Baghdadi's location? The POTUS knew withdrawing troops from Syria would spark an uproar, and ISIS would be emboldened. Because deep state ties have been cut with Syria and ISIS, someone had to get the message to al-Baghdadi in person. Now, we all know that the reason for ISIS in the first place, and even Al-Qaeda going all the way back, was the U.S. intelligence war, that they were using them and armed them and trained them. And ISIS became what it was and what it became under Obama's administration. It was fueled and rose to great prominence in a very short period of time under the administration of Obama. So many people say that this was deep state operation. Okay, so Trump knows that. Trump pulls out. Trump cuts off their communications and doesn't keep the war going on, which concerns the deep state. Well, what happened? Let's go back. Number 2. But who goes there while missiles and bombs are being lobbed across international borders by multiple countries, right? Remember the ceasefire. So Trump manages to get both sides to agree to a ceasefire. If someone is going to meet with al-Baghdadi, they would have to go during the ceasefire. Well, who went during the ceasefire? Let's think about this. Number 3, completely unannounced, Pelosi and Schiff, both deep state traitors, both CIA, suddenly head to the Middle East. Do you understand the significance of this timing? If there was no troop pullout, and if a ceasefire had not been arranged, Pelosi and Schiff would not have gone. Number 4, somehow, according to New York Times, al-Baghdadi's location is learned while Pelosi and Schiff are in the sandbox. Understand this, folks. Al-Baghdadi's location was discovered while Pelosi and Schiff were on the ground in the Middle East. Coincidence, right? Number 5, Trump issued command authority to take out al-Baghdadi last week, perhaps while Schiff and Pelosi were still in the country. It looks like al-Baghdadi may have been compromised by the very traitors involved with supporting him during the Obama administration. How freaking poetic. Poetic justice. Goes on to say, number 6, during Trump's press conference on taking out al-Baghdadi, he was asked if he notified Pelosi and anybody in Congress about the planned mission. Trump stated directly that he did not tell Pelosi because he didn't want any leaks getting out or any Americans to get hurt. Boom. And by the way, did you happen to hear Pelosi's statement recently? I think it was yesterday. She said, well, he, under her breath, very disparagingly, she said, Trump notifies the Russians but doesn't notify Congress. Well, the Russians are more trustworthy than Congress, it looks like to me, Pelosi. We trust Russians more than we trust the traitors in the House of Representatives and their deep state connections. So it goes on to say, number 7, Trump knows Pelosi is a traitor and that Congress can't be trusted. It only goes to confirm that my theory here bears weight. How is it that all of these coincidences occurred at just the right time? If my theory is right, then it was the perfect setup and the perfect trap. Number 8, if I'm right, It's also what was needed to draw al-Baghdadi or one of his confidants out into the open, and it worked. It was noted in USA Today that Trump praised the intelligence community for their work finding al-Baghdadi, but never once did Trump mention the CIA. And they're usually the ones that does all the foreign stuff, the foreign intelligence. But his intelligence did not come from the CIA because they are compromised. It came from military intel. That didn't prevent the New York Times from assuming and giving much of the credit for the intel to the CIA, but Trump never actually stated who the intel came from. Remember, Q said, and he's going to quote Q, why go around three-letter agencies? And he understood, whoever was the Q, understands that there were three-letter agencies that were in the way. Because so many traitors and leakers were in those agencies. So it was a part of the plan to go around the three-letter agencies. Why did POTUS surround himself with generals? What is military intelligence? This is the Q. He always asks questions. Why go around the three-letter agencies? What Supreme Court case allowed for the use of military intelligence versus congressional assembled and approved agencies or intel agencies, which would be the alphabets? Who has ultimate authority over our branches of military without approval conditions unless 90 plus in wartime conditions? Who ultimately has authority? That would be the president, right? He doesn't have to ask for congressional approval. Thus, the leaks and or the subversion or the sabotage. There was going to be no sabotage of this operation because he did not let them know. And it says, and it looks like Trump's going to be taking the intel community to task 6 ways until Sunday, and he's going to get them now. It looks like the tables have turned. Number 10, and would you look at that? Delta Force performed this operation. What did we recently learn about Delta Force? They're part of a very special group that is home to the Northern Virginia Army. 800 intel officers who report to Trump and to Q. Q had said this, made these statements a while back about this Delta Force. So it goes on to say, we were introduced to Lieutenant General Paul Nackerson in Drop 1268. 1 plus 2 plus 6 plus 8, 17. He became the new director of the NSA and Cyberspace Command when Admiral Mike Rogers retired. You will see through this thread. It appears he has also served with General Flynn. So it goes on to say, did you know Army Lieutenant General... Okay, so they make statements. Okay, so he goes on to say number 11. So again, all of this is just theory, looking from the big picture in. But in case evidence surfaces that Pelosi or Schiff are exposed as having passed into al-Baghdadi, you can say, hey, QAnon was tossing that theory around. If it's wrong, it's on me. Okay, so number 12, Trump credited the intelligence community, but he never said which one. Notice there were 0 leaks about this mission. That means military intelligence. Here's the USA Today article I referenced. And this is the article here. Let's just look at that really quick. It basically says, with ISIS leader dead, Donald Trump loves the intelligence community. Some of them, anyway. So it goes on to say, most of them, in announcing, it says, and you can read that if you'd like to check that out later. I'll just kind of go through here. You can stop the video if you want to read it. And this would be USA Today's article after the event. Okay, so then let's see, number 13. Again, I stress this is an outside looking in perspective of what can only be described as compelling coincidence. However, how many coincidences must occur before it becomes mathematically impossible to simply be coincidence? You make your own conclusions. God bless. The end. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night. Dun, 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 dun. I forgot the last part. Okay, God bless you guys. We'll talk to you guys soon.